And I think we're live. Hey, we did it. We're live.
Hello there.
Hello, everyone. It's day 14 of self-distancing here at Rocket Punch Show, episode 8. I'm Cameron, one of your hosts here, joined in that direction by Mr. Will, my other partner in crime here. Will, how you doing, man?
All right, man. If I back up, you guys can see that I decided to go with the Infinity Tour shirt
There you
because,
go.
Yeah,
I wanted to be the very best, so...
I mean, I can respect that, but until we get the DLC out, no one can be the very best.
That's true. June, right?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Maybe this whole thing will be... I don't know if it'll be done, but it may be calmed down by then. Maybe.
Probably won't be done until August.
Yeah, I think we got a long way to go between the COVID crap. No,
human malware, whatever we want to call it.
There's so many names and stuff out there. Now, I'm gonna die.
Hey, you're not allowed to die. Period. Man. You better cut that shit out.
So
we got stuff to make.
Everyone listening, watching in. So I had chili before the show, and I had Fritos, and so a Frito got stuck in my throat. Tried to take me out.
So we can join you with the likes of President Bush, who almost got killed by a pretzel.
Really?
Yeah, he almost choked to death on a pretzel while he was in office.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
That is super, super funny.
In one of the most powerful buildings known to existence, and, well, damn pretzel takes you out.
I want to know if, they Heimlich him and the pretzel shoots out, and then, every Secret Service agent just pulls out their revolver. It's down. Take it out.
That's cute that you think they have revolvers.
I just picked a gun. Okay, I'm sure they had them 200 years ago.
They didn't exist 200 years ago. Actually, they were formed, I believe, by Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't exist with George Washington and all those guys. Most of those guys just had a sidearm.
You're right. Nancy, this is why I don't like history. That's why history is one of my lowest things I don't like.
Yeah, it's okay, man. I mean, it's not like they stopped Lincoln from getting shot in the head, so...
Oh, yeah.
It is what it is.
You are correct. It is
it's
on
still...
them.
Yeah. Hey, it be what it be.
Well... No, what a week go okay? You'll do anything fun or cool before you get started with the show here?
Actually, I completed the what is this? West Side League exotic cash grind in the Division 2 Warlords of New York.
Okay.
What they do is they put a timer on a certain difficulty of a mission. Okay. So in this case, they had us run the DCD building on challenging difficulty. It's heroic is the next tier above that, and it's heroic or legendary, heroic, challenging, hard, normal.
Okay, so challenging is I see where it's going. Okay.
And they put a 16-minute timer on it.
Mm-hmm.
I did it in 15 minutes and 55 seconds.
Ooh, yes.
So I was scraping in by the skin of your butt cheeks.
That reminds me of when we would run rifts in Diablo 3. And it's you have 15 minutes, and we kill the last guy in 14 minutes, 59 seconds.
We literally had a millisecond left.
It was 37 milliseconds. We're yeah, we did it.
It literally by the skin of your ass, yes.
It was still good. No, I got to dig up dirt. Had to help my in-laws lay down some concrete slabs in their yard today. So I'm a little tired. My jeans are a complete mess. So I got to do that.
Yep. I didn't do any of that. I was doing some, as Cameron would say, grilling yesterday.
Ooh, you grilled. What'd you grill? Talk to me.
I did a pork loin and a couple of brats.
Okay, completely off topic, has no relation to video games, but this is why you guys come listen to us every week. So what, how do you cook your pork loin? Because I haven't really delved too far with pork, and I'm curious how you do yours.
So, funny enough, I actually busted out the little basic Weber, charcoal grill that we have. And I was like, all right, I had way too much charcoal in there. By the way, for those of you who don't have one, looks at Cam, you need a chimney starter, dude. They got them at Walmart. They're $10. You can buy it online, have it delivered. You can still self-isolate.
Okay. Yeah, because
right.
I'm definitely not going to Walmart.
Yeah, no. Right now, Walmart is like Satan's butthole as far as coronavirus goes. I would not go there.
No, not a chance.
But the chimney starter is dope.
Okay.
You get some like paper, shove it up in the bottom. I had this like newspaper thing that Piggly Wiggly sent out as a flyer saying, "Hey, we exist. Buy stuff from us, please, for the love of God."
Go ahead.
Crumpled it up, put it under there, put the charcoal into the chimney starter, light that paper, and within like 10 minutes, all the charcoal was ready to go.
Man, okay, yeah. I'd love to do that faster because I found this cool little. I figured out the trick to the smaller grill that I had. Mm-hmm. So that tray at the bottom, I always thought the vents were to dump out the ash. Mm-hmm. The vents were actually to help bring heat and keep the temperature in there, because I actually opened it up, and I think like before I was getting around 300 degrees, now it was like over 500. Yeah. And it lasted longer, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. See, that's how slow Cameron is sometimes with grilling. That's why I ask the pros over here and get some tips.
So anyway, I got all the charcoal going.
Mm-hmm.
I dump it into the side of the grill, pull it all to the side, and then put the pork loin on the other side away from the coals.
Okay.
And I've got some meat thermometers that are designed to be left in. Okay. Put it in and just checked on it. In about 40 minutes, it was done. Now I rotated about every 10 minutes, so I didn't dry it out.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the key. Is because the few times I've cooked it, it's always dried out.
Yeah. No, it was still juicy. Like I just finished it off for dinner, and I did it yesterday. So yeah, it was lunch and dinner yesterday, and lunch and dinner today.
Ooh, that's good.
And honestly, I was just making sandwiches, and I put it on Hawaiian bread.
Ooh.
No barbecue, no nothing. It was just it was a wet Cajun rub that I had done on the pork.
I was gonna say, like, depends on what the rub and stuff is.
No, it was Cajun, man. Trust me. So, yeah, that was interesting because I put it in a bag for that and left it in the fridge for 2 days.
Man, that had been good. Especially pork's very fatty meat. For people who don't know, and like putting that rub in, you let it sit there overnight, at least minimum, soaks in that rub. Oh.
Yeah, no, it was a 2-day just marinade in the fridge in a big Ziploc bag.
That's delicious. That is making me hungry again. Even though I just ate chili.
I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna.
No.
That's the whole point of social distancing, Cameron.
You're right. Well, everyone listening in, thank you guys so much for joining us for the Barbecuers Anonymous podcast. As we just had there, we're done with that. So I guess we should go ahead and get right into the swing of things with the reason you're coming in and listening to us here. If you don't know, welcome to the Rocket Punch Show, your southern source for all things gaming, geek, and more. You can listen to us every Tuesday on your podcast service of choice. You can also listen to us as we record the show live every Sunday night around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on twitch.tv/RocketPunchLive. As we always like to do, thank you so much for everybody tuning in and joining us in on our conversations here on Twitch. We love interacting with you guys while we're doing the show. If you want to know more about Rocket Punch and see all the content that we make for you guys every week, head over to rocketpunchgo.com. That is your one-stop shop for all things Rocket Punch. All of our podcasts, videos, streams, and more are right there at your fingertips. If you want to be a part of the Rocket Punch family, join us in and hang out with us when we're not on camera or on mic. Head over to our Discord. Help make our community grow. We've got the Discord link in here. We'll post it in chat for Twitch viewers here. It'll be in the show notes for everybody listening via audio services. If you want to help support the show, there are many ways you can do it, guys. Easy, simple stuff. You can review us on podcast service of choice, especially iTunes. You can follow and share our content over on social media. We're at Rocket Punch Go on Twitter, at /Rocket Punch Network on Facebook, and at Rocket Punch Go on Instagram. You can also follow us on YouTube. Catch our videos each and every time we upload them there. YouTube.com/RocketPunchGo. Don't want to miss those videos. Make sure you click the subscribe button to follow us there. Um, you can also, if you're watching via Twitch, we would love it if you threw us your free Twitch Prime sub. Subscribing on our Twitch channel does give you access to our exclusive Rocket Punch emotes that you're not going to get anywhere else, and as well as helping to support us. And if you want to go even further beyond, you guys can head over to our Patreon page and support us there, patreon.com/rocketpunch, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to exclusive content, bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes stuff you're not going to find anywhere else. They're all going to be over there. So head over again to patreon.com/rocketpunch and find out how you can help support us there. Speaking of Patreon, we'd like to give a special shout out to all of our Patreon producers. These are our people supporting us at our highest tier over on Patreon. So a special thank you to our producers, Chuck O, Joci M, Sam S, Jeremy M, Stephen S, Tyler H, and Adam C. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. Upcoming events, announcements, reviews are incoming. I'll definitely say I apologize for not having streams last week, but funny story, because of this whole COVID-19 crap, I actually, basically my classes that I take for college, they got pushed all online, and I had a test last week that I had to study for. So, and Will, this is so funny. I studied for this test while I'm like cutting video out and like recording video and playing some games. Come to find out, the day of the test, oh, okay, instead of an hour and a half, you get 3 hours. It's open notes. It's open book. Please don't work with other people. Thanks.
So shared Google Doc?
There were a lot of people were doing a lot of creative things involving GroupMe and Discord and other places like that.
Look, man, all I'm saying, a shared Google Doc means you're not talking to them, so...
Ooh, good point. Good point. Catch them on a technicality. I like that.
Yeah, man, you're just looking at a document that everybody happens to be typing in. I have no idea what you're talking about.
But because of that...
man, look at all these questions and answers.
But because of that, I ended up not getting a lot of stream. I don't think I streamed at all last week, so apologies for that. We'll definitely make it up this week here because it's basically spring break for me, so I got nothing to do. We're also gonna have. This is probably gonna be. I'm putting the stake in the ground, Will. This is gonna be our biggest week for video ever. So if you are, especially like video, follow us over on YouTube. We've got. I know for one, we've got our quick look video for Resident Evil 3, since that's coming up on Friday. That'll be live. If you're listening via audio, it'll already be live on YouTube. The Doom review is more or less done. There are a couple of edits I have to do on that and probably pass over to Will just to double check some stuff. And I'm sitting on about 5, 6, or 7 hours of recorded video for Doom Eternal.
Oh, man.
So I'm going to have a whole lot of fun editing that tonight and tomorrow. So that'll be up this week. The Animal Crossing review, I've started writing some stuff for that, but I still got to get some video recorded. So you may see that at the end of the week. It may be at the beginning of next week. We'll find out there. I know, Will, you're working on your Warlords of New York op-ed. That
yeah, man.
That we're going to be having here. I've got some ideas for that op-ed and other stuff we could be doing. We'll talk after the show. We'll see.
Cool, man. I'm down to chitty chat, as you say. I gotta say, another thing I'm going to be doing is I think I'm gonna, because for those of you who don't know, one of the members who was participating in disorderly conduct kind of bowed out. Since that is kind of going by the wayside, I'm going to start doing some classic gaming quick looks where I sit down and I actually look at retro games. Things like on the PSP, now that I have an HDMI cable for it. And things on the GameCube, as well as, Super Nintendo, PS1, PS2, that kind of stuff. So those will be some interesting things. As long as I can get the gameplay recorded, there will be thoughts, and there may be some fanboyisms, there may be overcriticalness. We'll see.
Question: did you play Eternal Darkness?
No.
Oh man, that was one of my favorite GameCube games.
Funny enough, hang on, let me put everything down. I gotta grab something off the shelf. If it is where I think it is, I think you'll appreciate this. 1 second.
Okay, he's gonna grab stuff off the shelf. But while he's doing that, I can finish events and announcements. We'll have the Twitch schedule live. If for people watching via Twitch, we'll have it live at the end of the show. Because I want to look at my schedule and see when are good days for me to stream. And then, other than that, yeah, I mean, like, this week is probably going to be a really big week for some video content. So if you like video content, be excited for that. And then some other plans, depending on how Will and I approach it, because I've got an idea. We could have some more stuff in the pipeline for you guys as well. So definitely stay tuned for that this week. No, you know what? Hold on. Okay, he said, hey, folks, first. I was going to say, you're going to come in here and you're just going to call out CT Game. You're not going to mention Cam over here. I see how it is, Stig. How are you doing today, sir? Rarutu. Actually, I don't know, while Will's looking for that, what Rarutu in chat asks, classic game is 15 years or older. Is that like a standard? Is it like, in order to be considered a classic game, do you have to be 15 years or older? Like, Will's got like a horde of crap. He's got a GameCube, PSP. I think he has a PlayStation. I think he has the original Xbox. He's got a bunch of. He's got an N64. Maybe if we're really, really nice, we could ask Will to do a Pokemon Snap stream. That would be cool. I miss that game. I wish we could like get that remade in some way.
So Pokemon Snap won't happen. I actually gave my copy of that to my sister when she moved to New York City.
No, go get it back.
Nah, it was one of those. It was like, look, you enjoyed this game as much as I did. Here you go. I gave her my third N64 in that game and a couple other games.
It's a good game to give. Good game to give.
Yeah. But, no, 1 second. I'm still looking. But,
keep looking.
One of the games is going to be, crap, I can't remember the name. Original Xbox game. I think it was on PS2 as well. Something Rising.
Advent Rising.
Yes, that.
Ooh, boy. That's a deep cut. So, if you want a super deep cut, if you ever heard about this game, Advent Rising, this was a really cool game. Who made... This is... The one nice thing about doing this remotely is that I can actually quickly Google stuff, and you guys can't see what I'm doing. Advent Rising, it was a game made by Majesco Entertainment, if you remember who they were. Majesco published it, Glyphex and Demiurge. It was supposed to be this, like, trilogy series that they were making. It was on Xbox, and I believe it was on, like Will said, I believe it was on PS2 as well. Let me, no, it was on Windows and Xbox only. So it was a Xbox game. It came out, they wanted it to be a complete trilogy, but they ended up, like, the first one came out, and it was not that great, I'm going to be real honest. The one cool thing, in case you run into trivia on this game, is that Tommy Tallarico, pretty popular name, he was one of the composers for this game.
Cool. Well, funny enough,
Marutu in chat says sounds pretentious.
This was what I was looking for.
Robotech! Oh man, that is a classic.
I loved this game. Robotech Battlecry. I played it on the GameCube. I'm sure it was available on other platforms. But yeah, man, I found a copy of this at one of the local game stores a few months ago for the GameCube, and I was just dying to play it. So,
pulled it out.
I'm probably going to pull that out and play that.
It was on all three of the platforms back in the day. PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox.
And I also have DBZ Sagas, but I got that on Xbox and GameCube. Don't know why. So that one's probably going to be easier to stream off of the Xbox just because I have a 360.
Well, you've got Arlinia hooked in chat. She says, Robotech!
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love Robotech? If you don't like Robotech, then you're a Macross elitist. But that's besides the point.
Oh, that is beside the point. Okay.
What?
You ready for news? Are you ready for
news?
News?
I guess. I just turned on my 360, so maybe.
While Will checks and makes sure that all of his vintage consoles work.
I wouldn't call them vintage.
So they're obsolete?
I'm sure the GameCube is. My OG Xbox isn't even plugged in right now. It's under the table to the right of the TV. It's on the floor.
Ooh, Rurutu in chat says, I only watched Macross Plus because Yoko Kanno music.
I mean, I'm not going to hate Yoko Kanno music at all, but so imagine if you took a bunch of old mecha anime back in the day, you westernized the hell out of it, and then you chop those 3 or 4 different animes together and made a show called Robotech. It is a bastardization of all things holy, and it's wonderful.
Uh-oh. Arlinia is being very mysterious. She says, check your mail in your islands tomorrow.
Ruh-roh.
Oh,
but,
no, I'm scared.
Okay. Hey, look, I tried to name my island Planet Vegeta, and there were not enough characters. I'm disappointed. I had to just name it Vegeta.
You gotta stick with Vegeta. You gotta keep it simple.
Yeah, so I was just like, man, come on. I just wanted to be Vegeta.
But guys, let's get into the news here. For people who don't know, first segment of the show, we jump into the latest news from the past week, breaking it down for you guys and giving our thoughts and opinions on it. 5 items on the news list this week. It was kind of a light week, but I actually appreciated that, especially considering what happened last week.
Yeah. So the thing that happened last week. Oh, did you put the required viewing?
Yes, I do have the video up, and we have the press release. I have not actually watched this. I completely missed this, so I'm going to let you take this over. News item number 1: Nintendo Direct news.
Oh,
surprise!
Yeah,
Nintendo Direct came up. I wasn't expecting it. Nobody was. If you need reference, Will, I've got the press release notes in here from BusinessWire.com. In the show notes here.
Yeah, thank you. Just because, it makes things easier than having to skim through the video at the same time.
Yep.
So I actually thoroughly enjoyed this mini direct. I was like, wait, this came out of nowhere. But so first off, on the Wii back in the day, there was a game called Xenoblade Chronicles. It came out. People went gaga, lost their minds. It was an amazing game. The game got ported to the new 3DS and the new 3DS XL and the new 2DS because they needed the extra processing power.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's being ported to the Switch, and they're calling it the Definitive Edition. So that's pretty dope. I'm going to buy this game a 3rd time now, and it's going to be fully enjoyable.
Is this the one that was like super...
Yeah.
Super expensive? Like if you like to find a used version of this, it was like $100 or $200 to find this game?
I never know what it was used because I bought it day one.
Okay.
Sorry. I was like, ooh, yes, anime bullshit, give me.
You're good.
But yeah, no. So look into that. It's the one that has Shulk as the main character and the special sword that pulls off the energy of one of the dead deities.
Oh yeah, because this was the game that they put on the new 3DS, and it could only run on the new 3DS because of the additional hardware. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So there's that. They announced expansion pass pack 3 for. Which is Marvel's First Family, and some other things there, so that's going to be enjoyable, at least in my opinion. They're updating Ring Fit Adventure, and that's cool. I probably should get that game.
Yeah, I have actually a couple of friends. Sanders Pool actually has this, and he talks to me about it. He says he enjoys it a lot.
So, funny enough, also TW Swordsman he and his wife enjoy it.
Oh, okay, very cool.
Yeah. So that's a thing. Shinsekai Into the Depths. It's apparently a deep sea exploration / survival game. So that looked interesting. Everybody else is dead and you're down in the ocean. So take that as you will.
Okay, that sounds like not exactly the same, but something like Subnautica a little bit.
Kinda. I like the art style on this better, but personal opinion.
Okay.
So Panzer Dragoon is being remade. And I don't know how to feel about this. Because there was a game back in the day called Panzer Dragoon Orta. Oh my god. This was a weird game already.
Wasn't it an Xbox game? Or like an Xbox exclusive?
It was on the original Xbox. I know that much. I don't know about exclusivity or not. Essentially, you ride around on a dragon and use the dragon's breath powers to blow shit up.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, honestly, that's synopsis of the game. It's being remade and brought to the Switch. Now, the real news was stealth drop day of Jedi Knight Jedi Academy coming to the Switch.
Oh, snap.
Yes, so yeah, there you go, Stig. But with everything, yeah. So Cameron, you have to remember this because I know you played it with Vance back in the day. Jedi Academy for the multiplayer on a computer.
Yes, yes. No, that's why. Ooh, yes, I'm excited for this because he modded it, and he had all sorts of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, well, there won't be mods on the Switch, but you can pick up the game and play the game with online 16 players, so you can still have the
Oh,
crazy online
Jesus.
lightsaber battles.
Look,
So yes, I bought that already. Heads up.
I'll definitely say like before, um, what was the Jedi Fallen Order that came out last year? Like
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, and by extension a little bit Jedi Academy, but Jedi Knight
Mm-hmm.
2 probably my favorite and arguably the best Star Wars game ever created.
The old
Okay.
Star Wars Jedi Knight games were the best Star Wars games. Period.
Yeah.
Full stop.
They were so good. It felt so good. You could dismember people.
Yep.
I
You
loved.
could take an arm off. You could use force healing. You could use force lightning. You could go full Sith. You could go kind of Jedi. You could kind of try to balance the two. It was a pretty cool little game.
It was really really cool.
And they're bringing it. Already bought it and downloaded it. Excellences abound.
Okay.
All right. Then we have the definitive edition, blah, 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 Xenoblade. That comes out sometime this year. Animal Crossing New Horizons is going to get a seasonal event between April 1 and 12. So look out for that.
Okay.
It's the Bunny Day event. So
We're gonna
I'm
pause.
going
here.
to refer to Arlinia for everything as far as knowledge on that.
Yes, if
She
Arlinia
is the
is
goddess
still
of
in
Crossing.
chat, twitch.tv/Arlinia. Tell us let us know in chat as we're talking through this. What is Bunny Day? Why should I be excited for Bunny Day? That's what I want to know.
Well, they did say to follow the Animal Crossing Twitter account for all the news and updates. So it's got its own Twitter.
But we have a direct source. Someone who's
Sure.
on the front lines.
Yes, on the front lines for sure. So they talked more about the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass and the first
Okay.
DLC coming on the Isle of Armor. So you get a new Pokemon, and it'll be something where you do special events in there with that new Pokemon. But here's the thing: when you do those special, yeah, okay. A Rocket Punch Insider leaks exclusive information. We're at 5.
If
Hosting,
only.
don't change.
If only.
Yeah, so essentially, this Pokemon's going to have 2 evolution paths. And the thing is, you can only do one of them, of course, but it's going to go based off of which gym tower thing you go into.
Ooh,
And then that
okay.
will get special moves based off of that. So it's going to be interesting.
That will be interesting. Are you excited for the expansion pass at all?
It's the first time they've truly done something like that. That's end game content in a Pokemon game. So yeah, if they do it right, it'll be very interesting.
Okay.
And then what we really want to know is Bravely Default 2. That sequel, it is coming. The demo dropped the day of the video.
Oh, so there's demo.
Uh-huh.
Gonna download that tonight.
Yep. And then the thing that nobody really cared about, a bunch of 2K games dropped. So XCOM 2 Collection, which is XCOM 2, 4
XCOM
DLC
2?
packs.
Although,
Go
ahead.
But yet another platform they've put Borderlands 2, and the pre-sequel on. All the BioShock games.
Okay.
Which, oh man, all 3 BioShock games in one package. I'm disappointed actually in 2K, in
Really?
Gearbox on this one, because these games are 60 a pop.
Whoa! Really?
Yeah, I understand that the Borderlands one is 3 games, but come on, $60
Even
for games that are way old at this point.
the Bioshock games are there's 3 games. It's a complete edition, and I could see 40, but I mean they're clearly trying to say, oh, it's going to cost it costs so much money to pay for those physical cards.
The port. Well, that's a whole nother debate, physical versus digital. But then Smash Brothers Ultimate. Essentially, they announced that the next fighter is from the Ultimate Pass Volume 2 is going to be coming from ARMS.
Oh, very cool. Arms is a good game. It's. I understand.
Sorry, go ahead.
I understand it had its hurdles, but it was a cool game. I liked it.
I like ARMS. I've got no issues with it. Now, they did not announce which character, but they did say June is when they'll announce and release the character.
Okay.
Someone released a 51 Worldwide Classic game collection where it's essentially Mancala, Checkers, Go, all those kind of tabletop games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Burnout Paradise Remastered. So a decade later, they're bringing it to the Switch.
Okay.
We're getting Fuser, so you become a DJ in a rhythm game from Harmonix.
Okay, that might actually be interesting. If Harmonix is doing it, okay, that could be cool.
Yeah. I wish they would make more, instruments so you don't have to pay outrageous prices, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see, King's Bounty 2. So it's a Western RPG, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's an old school RPG done in the Western art style about Western knights and all that kind of thing. So is what it is. Ninjala. It's a free to play game, 8 players. So everyone plays as ninjas, but what was it? What was the thing that was so weird about this? You can use like wooden katanas, yo-yos, and it's literally like a kid battle royale game, but it's 8 people instead.
Hey, they have said that ninjas play free, so.
Oh God, no. that slogan's already taken and in wide use.
You're right.
So
yeah.
It's like, so maybe no. But yeah. So we got that. Catherine is getting Catherine Full Body. So the puzzle adventure game from the PS3 and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was a cool
being
game.
Ported to the Switch.
I wanted to try that out, so I might, depending on the price, I might actually check that out.
Yeah. But the real piece that everyone truly cares about and what really matters is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. It's coming to the Switch.
What?
They said launching soon. They gave no dates and no price point.
Of course not. And I swear if they jacked it up to $60, I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah, dude, look, all I'm saying is I need Star Wars Episode 1 Racer from the N64, not this Racer Revenge crap that hit the PS2 and all that, and they got ported to PS4. No, I need Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Man, my friends and I went over to his house, and I played the hell out of that game constantly. Yeah. I loved Racer.
But the video itself is totally worth watching. It was a fun Nintendo Direct. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't expect this, and I really enjoyed it. And there was just enough Star Wars to be like, Now, if only we could get the other N64 games ported that were Star Wars games, like Shadows of the Empire and that kind of stuff.
I never played Shadows of the Empire, but I heard a lot of people love that game.
That game was excellent, but that game was interesting because on PC, it ran differently than it played on the N64. So it was almost like having 2 games with the same storyline. It was very interesting because graphics cards were actually behind consoles at that time.
Oh boy, so long ago, the whole time.
Well, we may be there again here shortly.
You're right. We might actually talk about that later on in the show. Okay, cool. I'm glad I got informed. Thanks for breaking it down for us, Will, because I missed it completely with work and tests and everything. It flew right by me.
How dare you? You can't call yourself a real gamer.
I can't. Here, take my gamer card. Let me pull it on a lot here. Let's hand it to you guys.
Wait, you guys have cards? Where the hell's my card?
You didn't get it in the mail?
No, man. I didn't know how to sign up somewhere.
Yeah, it's 7 to 10 business days. I'm sure it'll come in eventually.
I'm sure at this point it's at least a month. Social distancing.
Well, take your drink. Take a second, Will. I'll get story number 2 here. Oh, God, what?
Oh, that's Savage Router. You can pick up your card at the ruins of GameStop.
Snap. Oh, man. I don't...
Hang on.
I feel like we talked enough. Stig pressed F to pay respects.
Hang on. There we go. Just to make sure. You mean that? That used to be a real thing. Now it's dead.
Yeah, it is dead. Now you get 5%. On
Oh no, I didn't pay for the renewal when they took away the discount and the extra trade in.
oh, the $5. I'm sorry, not 5%. $5. My bad. Completely.
Yeah, well, $5 once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
way to get people to not pay for your shit.
Number two. This was an interesting story. I haven't dug deep into this or haven't read the press release, so I'm going to read the press release here. Epic Games is getting into publishing here. Reading this directly from Epic Games' news website here. Epic Games Publishing announces partnerships with Gen Design, Playdead, and Remedy Entertainment. Today, Epic Games is announcing a new multi-platform publishing effort with a developer-first approach. Gen Design, The Last Guardian, Playdead, who did Inside and Limbo, and Remedy Entertainment, who did Control, are the first partners to announce relationships with Epic Games Publishing. If you check the article out too, there's a video kind of detailing this more. We'll let you guys watch it at your leisure. The Epic Games approach to publishing fundamentally changes the developer-publisher model and aims to have the most developer-friendly terms in the industry so that creators can focus on making great games. Number one, full creative freedom and ownership. Developers retain 100% of all intellectual property and full creative control of their work. Number two, fully funded projects. Epic Games Publishing will cover up to 100% of development costs, from developer salaries to go-to-market expenses such as QA, localization, marketing, and all publishing costs. Number three, 50-50 profit sharing. Developers earn a fair share of their work. Once costs are recouped, developers earn at least 50% of all profits. We're building the publishing model we always wanted for ourselves when we worked with publishers, said Tim Sweeney, founder and CEO of Epic Games. Quote, Gen Design, Remedy, and Playdead are among the most innovative and talented studios in the industry, with strong visions for their next games, said Hector Sanchez, head of Epic Games Publishing. They will have full creative control, while Epic will provide a solid foundation of project funding and services. End quote. Additional information, development partners, and games will be announced in the coming months. Will, what are your thoughts on this?
So it's interesting because I don't know what the current terms are for game developers and their deals, and it usually depends on the developer and the publisher and how valuable that developer is and their IP and what they can get as far as a negotiation goes with a publisher. So
keep talking. I'm looking through. I've got another Kotaku article that I'll look through to see if I can get some information on that.
So this is interesting because my thoughts are very much along the lines of the developers deserve more, but at the same time, it also depends on what's going on, because if they're guaranteed to get paid the entire time while they're making this game for Epic, and, you know, as an example, they release, and then after all their costs that they incurred while developing are paid, and they get half of the rest of the proceeds, it depends on what the rest of the, you know, actual publishers are demanding. This makes me understand more, seeing this agreement, why Bungie wants to self-publish. Then they keep all the money. There is no more of that garbage. The thing is, not everybody can afford to self-publish.
Bingo.
And Rurutu is correct. Epic is taking all the financial risk on this. So it really does depend then on where we are as far as this IP goes. If this is Remedy, they have a proven track record of making solid games. They're probably going to be able to negotiate something a little different than Joe Blow Indie Studio.
Well, even you look at those, for the three developers that are already on there: Gen Design, The Last Guardian, okay, Playdead, Inside, and Limbo. Those were smaller games, but those were highly touted, critically acclaimed games that came out. And Remedy Entertainment, Control. I mean, a lot of people's game of the year last year. My personal game of the year last year. Like in that, you think Control, Quantum Break, Alan Wake, stuff like that.
Yeah, they're high-profile names, even though they may not be, an explosive narrative like Halo. Yeah. Where it's literally just action constantly all the way through. It's a different type of game. Yeah. And so Remedy, as far as the game Control when I was playing on the Xbox, is very different compared to that. There was a lot of like, what's going on here? Let me kind of look around, and then, oh wait, I got a pistol. I got to deal with these guys now, and So there was a bit more, at least, interest in that game because they were trying to tell a story without telling you outright. which I also respect. And if they're going to be able to get guaranteed funding to be able to keep making their games, I'm not going to hate on that. There's a place for that. And if
Yeah.
Epic's Fortnite money is going to enable them to be able to do this kind of thing, why not try to shake up the status quo? They've been doing it for everything else. People can hate on them for their business practices as far as their game store goes, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, that's true. And I think Rurutu in chat brings the pretty good point. Epic is taking up all the financial risks, but I think like 50% of the profits is a lot, but you also take that basically. And we're not game developers. We've talked about this long enough. I think we have a general idea of like game development and kind of how the flow has been, because we follow a lot of people in the industry. And like 50, a lot of development costs and a lot of hardships that developers have, especially on the front end, when like they're trying to build their teams and get pre-production and actually build the game. Then they're running through crunch and the additional money and like. When they have to delay a game, that costs more money for not only like them but the publisher as well, because now they have to delay that game. Like, fiscal forecasts and all that stuff gets thrown out, and so like, I think I don't disagree with you, Arutu, because I generally don't know, and we may not really know what deals are with. And I'm sure those like behind closed doors meetings, like publishers and developers are like, hey. Well, here's how we're going to split the profits, and we're going to help you with this. But the fact that as a developer going in here, you keep your IP, all your work, you don't lose that and risk that to the publisher. You get 100% of your, let me correct my statement, up to 100% of your development costs paid for, to actually, where a studio doesn't necessarily have to worry about, am I gonna have money for these developers to keep making this game next month? They're just like, hey, let's make the game as best as we can make it, and they get and especially Epic putting all that money forward. I think that when you look at that, doing a 50-50 split doesn't sound as bad. There, especially if their game takes like if they get the time to do it and they make an awesome game and it takes off.
Yeah, true. Also, I mean, we got to look at it. Like, how many times would we have been able to get another follow-up to a game if they had had more in the front end, so that all the sales didn't go to just paying off all the work they just did?
Yeah, exactly. Like, so many times you hear, like, especially, and we've heard it lately over the last year or two, like, indie studios, they'll come in and say, hey, we released our game 3 months ago, or 6 months ago, or 9 months ago, or whatever, and like we just got to a point now to where we've recouped all of our costs and we're actually starting making profit right now. I remember Ninja Theory and Hellblade. I remember it was like 9 months, like 8 to 9 months or something after the game had been shipped out when they finally said, okay, we're actually making profit on the game now. It's not, we've paid all of our development costs. We're actually making money. And the fact that if Epic is footing the bill and taking that risk on the front end, as soon as your game sells, you're making a profit. Full stop.
Yeah. No, you're right. And it's one of those things that it can be frustrating, though, because at the same time, you want the developers to make more money, but they also, it's a business, and people have to understand that as well.
Yeah, I think so. I'm really curious, especially... I think these 3 developers are like smaller to bigger developers. They got a nice variety, and I'm sure this may be something very enticing to indie game developers too that want to get their game made. But I'm really curious to see how this shakes out, and like what when these games come out and we actually people start talking about like how are the profits, and you asking the studio heads like, are you guys making as much as you expected to or more with this 50-50 split or whatnot, and like really seeing that, because like if anything, like this is one of the few things I'm not a Fortnite player 100%, to be real honest on the show, but if anything, if Fortnite is helping Epic Games to do stuff like this in the Epic Game Store, in the 8812 split costs, and getting your game hosted on the Epic Game Store, I'm all for it. It's super, super awesome. It really is.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it because Fortnite is keeping all the kids that would be harassing us on Xbox Live over in their corner. And I'm okay with it just for that.
Fair enough.
And you know what? Yeah, tell Pepper to be quiet.
Hey, I'm sure they're getting into something they're not supposed to.
I mean, it's Pepper. Pepper gonna do what Pepper gonna do.
Yeah, she is. 100% is. But no, I'm really excited to see. I'm excited. When I started reading a little bit of this, I was just really excited to see. I feel like for years and forever, like we really didn't hear about it, or for whatever reason, game studios just they followed the letter of the law and they did their own thing, and it's really cool to see somebody who's actually it feels like they're taking all these profits from this super mega ultra hit that they've fallen into by accident, and they could have easily said, hey, let's take the profits, let Tim Sweeney, everybody at Epic Games, you're getting a bonus, you're getting $200 million bonus, bam 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 bam. And it's just really exciting to see Tim and the heads at Epic Games go you know what? Let's do our own store. Let's look at development a little differently. Let's see what we can do to help improve the developmental environment for people, so that way we can have more indie people in more indies, more AAA studios, not have to worry about how much money they have to put in to get it made, and they can just worry about making the game. And it's really cool.
Yeah, but you know what else came out about Epic recently that I heard of that was really cool? So, of the people watching right now, who has seen the show The Mandalorian? I know you've seen it. I know I've seen it. Anybody else?
Oh man,
the soundtrack's amazing. But did you know that they filmed the entire show in Unreal Engine?
No, I did not know that.
Yes. So they shot it in Unreal Engine. So the vast vistas you would see in the show?
Mm-hmm.
That was actually done via green screen.
No, I heard about that. I didn't know it was in Unreal, though. That is cool.
Yeah, so they actually filmed it using Unreal and some high-end cameras. And what they were doing is they were actually building the environments using virtual reality artists, so that way they could build the environments. And through what they were doing in that, they would figure out, all right, cool, this is how we want this to look, we want this to look. And then they would superimpose everything they shot into that environment.
That's pretty cool. Stigander in chat says, dude, I've been doing animation and scene composition in Unreal recently, but I've just been using 3D CG.
It is insane what they're enabling Unreal to be able to do. And Tim Sweeney, funny enough, I was looking into it, he owns over the company. Tencent owns 40% of the company. So he's the majority shareholder as far as everything goes. It's privately held between those two people and I guess a couple of other small people. So the big thing here is Tim Sweeney could have just sat on that Fortnite money, but they keep improving Unreal Engine. They keep buying these other developers. They've got Psyonix now, Quixel, and they've got what was it? Epic Games Berlin, Japan, Korea, Seattle, Stockholm, and UK, and Kamu. Yeah. So these are really interesting things that are set up. I want to know what they do in the future.
Yeah, 100%.
Stig, I didn't either until I looked into what I had just heard, because I heard it in passing. I'm like, wait, they shot it in Unreal? What the heck? Yeah, they were shooting the show in Unreal and inserting stuff live on the back end, and they had somebody on set with a VR unit so they could watch what was going on. It's really cool.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, so Epic... The only reason I brought up the whole Mandalorian thing is because we're talking about Epic right now, and they, Ruto, I don't know if Apple would have the cash on hand to be able to convince Tim Sweeney.
No, yeah, Epic's riding high.
He is printing money with that Fortnite money.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the company's been around for 29 years, and they're out of Maryland. Tim Sweeney ain't going nowhere. Yeah. And I don't think Apple is going to tell him what to do. As far as that goes, because Apple has been using Unreal Engine. As far as that, they've enabled it on all their iPads, their phones, Apple TVs, the Macs, as far as optimizing for their mobile devices that are not on x86.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they want to mess with Unreal because right now they're the gold standard.
Yeah. Don't mess with perfection right now. Okay, leave it alone.
Yeah, please don't bring up that blasphemy again. It's just about one company buying another one and putting it in the tank. I only say that because, oh, man.
Yeah, Rurutu says, yep, they can stop paying licensing fees and just own it.
Yeah, no, I'm not okay with that.
Ooh, well, moving on here. News item number 3. In case anybody was still worried or concerned because of the COVID-19, Next Gen is still on track for 2020 here. I've got multiple links here, but the one I'm going to read from is this Eurogamer article, which kind of brings everything together. But I also have links to a specific one for PlayStation and Xbox. Xbox and PlayStation eye impact of coronavirus on game development. This is from Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer.net, who has been on fire lately. Let me take a side note here. They have been on it with everything Next Gen.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be entirely honest. A lot of it is because of Digital Foundry and Ledbetter. Like, Richard Ledbetter is the dude when it comes to Digital Foundry.
Oh, yeah. Microsoft and Sony have both issued statements on possible impact coronavirus may have on their first-party Xbox and PlayStation games in development. Neither platform holder has announced game delays as yet while the crisis ramps up in Europe and North America, where each has many major development studios. However, each company has warned delays remain a possibility. Microsoft's statement, issued by Xbox Game Studio chief Matt Booty, focuses on the need to ensure the health... That is his real name.
I know, but I still laugh every time I hear it.
Focuses on the need to ensure the health of its staff first while remaining committed to high-quality games. Quote, "We know that gaming connects people during times of social distancing, and we are committed to delivering the highest quality Xbox Game Studio games for our global community of players. At the same time, the health and safety of our Xbox Game Studio development teams is our top priority. Each studio is facing unique challenges and constraints depending on its particular location, and many of our external development partners around the world are similarly affected. We are supporting our studio leaders to make the right decisions for their teams and their individual games during this challenging time." Sony, meanwhile, said it is keeping a close eye on the possibility for game development to be delayed. Like Microsoft, Sony has many of its staff worldwide now working remotely. Quote, "Although no issues have emerged so far," the company wrote, "Sony is carefully monitoring the risk of delays in production schedules for game software titles at both its first-party studios and partner studios, primarily in Europe and the US. That said, Sony added it estimated there would be, quote, "no material impact," end quote, on its business for the current financial year, which it would be unlikely to suggest if the launch of the PlayStation 5 itself were to be delayed. Indeed, the 4 Chinese manufacturing plants Sony uses have already reopened following a brief government-mandated shutdown. Quote, "Supply issues remain, but operations are returning to the level they were before the spread of the virus." Last week, Microsoft also reaffirmed its commitment to the company's holiday 2020 launch window for the Xbox Series X. Does this make you excited, Will? Do you get all warm and fuzzy knowing that, hey, it's the next gen's still coming this year?
I could have told you it was not going to stop. My bets are, based on everything I've seen, gaming is going to be a bigger role in us getting back to normal than anything else.
You think so?
Because right now, it's the one thing that we can all still do together. I think people are going to be doing so much gaming together because of social distancing and the human malware, Voldemort, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. I've seen a lot of people referring to it as different things. In all honesty, whatever you want to call it doesn't matter. People are playing video games together right now, and that is going to become a habit. Yeah. I don't see people stopping because of this. Naruto, funny enough, just because there's a new generation console exclusives on it, doesn't mean that I'm not going to go buy it. Wuhan Boogaloo. I've not heard that one yet, Stig. But no, I'm actually looking forward to the Series X and the PS5, whatever you want to call it. As long as my Rock Band accessories work on the PS5, I'm good.
Priorities.
Man.
Will has his priorities in order, people. Don't get it twisted.
I got to be able to play Spider-Man. I got to have my Rock Band, and I need my God of War and my Days Gone. If those work, we're solid. I know the first-party titles will work. That's not an issue. I just need the guitar controllers to link up.
Rurutu in chat says, world economy is going to be down. I don't know if it will release this year. And then also mentions, but new generation consoles, there isn't any exclusives on there. It continues saying you have the cash to buy it, but a lot of people might not have that luxury in 7 months. And you are right. That is true. I think that you know what, Rurutu, I'm gonna take part of your question. I'm gonna save it for table talk. And there's a reason for that, and you're gonna find out why.
Yeah. Now, I will say, though, whenever new console generations start coming around, I'm one of those people that will start saving the year before for the consoles. And this year, I've already literally looked at the money, and it was like, well, I got to get a Series X. I've got to get a PS5. I'm going to need Actually, I won't need any extra controllers because everything I just read said that all the controllers are going to work on the new stuff. So I can keep playing with my Goku-themed controller. We're good.
Yes! Woo!
But beyond that, like, in all seriousness, with everything else going on, I'm probably going to get the next-gen AMD graphics card when it comes out. The higher-end one. Whatever Big Navi ends up being. Because it's going to be PCI Express 4.0. I have a PCIe 4.0 motherboard. I've got an AMD CPU. I may as well take advantage. And if it's going to be better... Right now, we're looking at double my 1080 Ti or double a 2080 Ti. So...
Stigander in chat says, gotta save those greenbacks for TP. Of course. And then he also says, Will can go even further beyond with that controller.
Look, man, if they had a Vegeta-themed controller, I'd have it too. Because thanks to Cameron, I have a Vegeta statue and a Goku statue that are actually adequately sized compared to each other.
I need a Vegeta one. I don't have. You know what? Okay, so this is a complete ramble, but I have to make this point. The only thing I really go into GameStop for lately are just like figurines, like all that cool stuff. There is this figurine for people that have watched Dragon Ball Z Broly, the segment where Goku and Vegeta are Super Saiyan Blue and they put their backs to each other and they do the Kamehameha and the Gallic Gun.
Yeah. There
is a statue of those two. And it's like, it's two pieces that you put together, and I cannot find the Goku one. There is one Vegeta one in the store, and I can't find the Goku one, because if Goku was in the store, I would have bought both of them in a heartbeat.
So I'm going to tell you this right now. You can buy it on Wish.com with an extra helping of coronavirus if you choose. It'll be here in about 2 months.
But the coronavirus, though...
Oh, no, I mean, I figured you already had it at this point. So,
Hey, I'm doing real good. I'm washing my hands for 20 seconds, right. Okay?
Man, just 20? Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
But no, I'm excited to hear that they're still slated for holiday 2020. I think that... I honestly think for both of these, for Microsoft and Sony, they want to get to the next generation as soon as possible. They've got people hyped. I think Microsoft more than anybody because they want to get out of the Xbox One generation. They fuck this gen. Let's go to Series X. They're going to do so. I'm super excited. They're going to do very well next generation with what we've seen so far.
Man, Stig, I hope everything works out well, man. That ISO life is not a joke.
But I really, if they got delayed to 2020, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'd be like, okay, totally fine. This year's a wash anyway. Just reset in 2021. But it's still cool to see. I am curious though, and like I said, we'll talk about it more in Table Talk. How these next generations could impact the economy and other stuff.
Yeah. Funny enough, I think that things are going to be a bit better than people realize.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, there you go, Stig. At least you got some improvement going on with your Apex Legends.
Yes, good. I'll have to play. And I never played a controller, but
how's the Xbox guy wearing a Sony headset and the Sony guy wearing a PC headset? What's going on here?
Hey, look, man, priorities. Look, people don't understand or realize all this all the stream and the layers. This is being held together by some glue and some duct tape and a little bit of WD-40. That's it. Like, we just do what we got to do to get the show to you guys.
Sure. No, I'm just trolling. No, I'm actually wearing this because I've been playing PlayStation most of the day.
Yes. Do it.
Well, where else am I going to play Spider-Man?
Good point.
Especially since they bought Insomniac. It's like, well, that literally the main reason why I will buy a PS5 day one is to play this in 4K 60.
Man, I'm just...
Because this is one of the most beautiful games I've played in the last 10 years.
The game is so good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The last two stories here on the news docket here, they're very brief. I'll go through both of them pretty quick. They both involve Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing. Their sales openings here. First one is Doom Eternal is selling well. Reading here from Gematsu.com by Sal Romano, Doom Eternal breaks franchise record for opening week sales. Doom Eternal broke the franchise record for opening week sales with double the launch revenue of the 2016 release Doom, publisher Bethesda Softworks and developer id Software announced. It was also the best-selling game on Steam for its release week, surpassing 100,000 concurrent players on the platform. And it launched on PlayStation 4. Blah, 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 blah. Here's an overview of the game via Bethesda Softworks. They've got general details. There's nothing really to say about that. And then Animal Crossing here, reading this story from Christopher Dring over at GameIndustry.biz. Animal Crossing New Horizons smashes sales records in the UK. It is the fastest selling single Switch game ever. Animal Crossing New Horizons has become a major hit in the UK. Nintendo's critically acclaimed sequel has sold more copies in its first week on sale than the launch sales of all previous Animal Crossing games combined, including the spin-offs. The launch is 3.5 times bigger than the last game in the series, 2013's Animal Crossing New Leaf on Nintendo 3DS, which was the previous biggest launch for the series. It is also the biggest single game launch on Nintendo Switch since the console came out, although if you combine the sales of Pokemon Sword and Shield together, those games enjoyed a bigger first week. This only factors in physical sales. It does not include digital download numbers, which may have been higher than usual considering the concerns around the COVID-19 virus that has seen the UK government recommend that citizens stay indoors. Nintendo does not share digital download data externally. God damn it, that scared the shit out of me. Oh, God.
Oh, man. Who was that?
I cannot tell because it's not popping up on my feed. Whoever did that, show yourselves in chat because you scared the crap out of me and I need to recognize you for it. Why is my little box? Oh, because it's not on here. I should add that box on here so that way people get recognized. While I'm doing this, Will, what do you think? Sales-wise, how do you feel about those numbers for both those games?
I mean, it's awesome. I want these guys to do well because they make good games. I have issues with Bethesda overall, but that's nothing to take away from the achievements of id Software. I mean, True. Honestly, that's really the thing right there. I mean, beyond that, nothing else truly matters. And honestly, I may end up falling into a hole with Animal Crossing this week. It depends on what happens with work. I know.
What?
I know, it's amazing. Yeah, it's just like, I got to finish the DLC for Spider-Man, and then I'm going to play Animal Crossing like nobody's business. So, you know, it is what it is.
It's great to see Doom numbers so high. It is crazy to see the Animal Crossing numbers so high. I mean, and it's showing those numbers physical only and only in the UK. So I'm very curious how everything else is going on throughout the rest of the world with Animal Crossing, and especially like he made a point in the article. It's really interesting that those numbers are that high on physical only. And especially, I downloaded Animal Crossing digitally because I wasn't going to go to, I wasn't about to walk into a GameStop to buy that game physically. Like, nope, I'll buy it digitally, it's fine, I got enough space on my memory card.
Oh, man, if you're in the Discord, you need to go to memes, that thing that Star-Lord just posted, because it is hilarious.
Oh, damn it. I'll see it after the show. Check it out. But,
it's okay.
No, I think that's great for them. Like we said, we're going to have the reviews for both of those games. The official Rocket Punch reviews this week. I'm committed. I want those out because God forbid Resident Evil 3 comes out on Friday. I'm gonna play that. Final Fantasy 7 remake. If I am one of the lucky few people that gets their first class edition on day and date, then I might get to play it the week after next. So we'll see.
I mean, if not, I could always, break social distancing, come to your house, and just download it on your console.
And just stream it, and then I'll
live vicariously.
Yes, I will live vicariously through you. Like, dude, use Ultima Materia. What are you doing? Use Ultima.
Nah, forget that. We're going even further beyond. Actually, I guess you wouldn't be able to get Knights of the Round in this version. Not yet.
Oh God, I've actually really wondered like how the hell are they going to pull off Knights of the Round as a summon? Because if they, oh man, God.
I guess we'll find out in Final Fantasy Remake Part 4 or 3, whatever they end up doing.
I'm really curious where they end Part 1 because like if memory serves me right, help me correct myself, chat and Will if I'm wrong. Part 1 ends after what's her name dies? Eris dies, right?
I can't remember honestly. It's been a really long time.
Because they get out of Midgar.
Yeah, they go to Cosmo Canyon.
Yeah, they go out for a little bit. You kind of slowly spread out into the world a little bit, and then oh God, what is? I should know this. It's in one of the caverns.
When Masamune goes from behind her at this weird physics angle and out through her chest, but physics, how do work in Final Fantasy?
Yeah. How does work? I'm looking, trying to find it. Can't find it. I'll look at it later. But I think she dies at the end of disc 1. Pretty sure. Don't hate me, for the love of God. It's a 20-plus-year-old game. Spoilers be damned.
Well, who knows? They may let you use a Phoenix Down on.
Would you like to use Phoenix Down?
Oh wait, the one thing Phoenix Down can't save you from: cutscene death.
Yeah, no, not gonna help you there. No, I think that's it for the news here, guys. That's all the news items we have. Is this? I put a required. Is this the required viewing you put up?
That's the video from Cortex. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's put that in chat here. We do have some required viewing here. If you are listening or watching, we encourage you to watch this video. We're going to talk about this a little bit in table talk here. It's kind of the things I was alluding to earlier. But we're going to take a quick break here. Refill on drinks, whatever we got to do. We're going to come back here. We're going to talk table talk. Talk about give a little preview of Doom Eternal. And very briefly on that, I want to talk, I'm actually curious, there have been some Gears Tactics previews that have been popping up, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Talk about some cool stuff, some D&D talk that Will got to get involved with this week. I'm excited to talk to you about that. And also some more next-gen talk. I'm sure we're going to get deep into that here, guys, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back in just a minute. Okay, we're back from our break here. It's time to jump into Table Talk, guys. For people who don't know, Table Talk's where we basically sit and we gush about all the cool, latest gameplay topics and how games we played this week, other cool gaming stuff we want to talk about in Table Talk. And we kind of very chilled, relaxed environment here. So, breaking news, I guess? I don't know. Will threw this up in staff chat here for us. We finally got a chance to read it. We're going to talk about it in Table Talk first. Talk us about this rumor. I don't believe this, but
yeah, this take with a dump truck of salt. All right, that's where we need to be as far as this thought process. This is a rumor that I just came across, and it's flagged as an E3 spoiler. I don't think this will actually happen, but it's oh my God, is this one hell of a rumor, and it would actually be quite interesting in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's titled Xbox E3 Spoiler. Tonight between 10 p.m. and midnight Eastern Standard Time, Microsoft is going to finalize the purchase of the gaming back catalog from Konami. No, actually, Stig, I went and made a new cup of coffee. I don't know if you can see the coffee in there, whereas before you could not.
This is a Stig in chat says this is a rumor that Will came up with during the 5-minute break.
No, I'll share the Paceman post with you guys. Literally, it'll be in Discord. Rocket Punch and gaming. I'll throw console gaming. This ought to be interesting. Rumor in all caps. So essentially, they'd be purchasing the entire back catalog from Konami. The deal they've been working towards is so expensive for Microsoft it'll single-handedly fund a new manufacturing facility Konami has been wanting to build to focus on R&D for gambling devices. Microsoft will have to keep paying royalties back to Konami on all games that Konami originally released, including future remasters. Only new games made from the ground up will be fully profitable for Microsoft. Konami will also retain the rights to create new gambling hardware based on previously adult M-rated theme games they've released. In the deal with Microsoft will be able to select a team from potential layoff employees after the sale to help found a studio in Cho City. Konami will allow for the current Xbox Game Studios Tokyo as a satellite office for 12 to 18 months on the second floor of their current headquarters in Cho City while Microsoft finalizes their plans to move to or construct their own studio space. So this is interesting. I don't know how much I believe it, but God, if this is real, oh my God, this would be an amazing E3 surprise.
Fake news. I don't know.
You know, we may as well dub it fake news. I'm dubbing it rumor. Please use a dump truck of salt with looking at this, because I don't necessarily believe it, but I'm sitting here imagining, imagine if all these games were in the hands of people who cared about games.
Yeah.
Instead of pachinko machines. Just regardless of Sony or Microsoft, both platform owners love games. Look at the way they treat their developers and their teams under them. Mm-hmm. Be a fanboy if you want, but they're at least pushing gaming forward in a positive direction. Yep. Nadella has got Phil Spencer being the man right now, building, they're trying to build the world's first quadruple A studio with the Initiative.
Yeah.
And essentially Sony saying, you know what? We make the best third-person adventure games, period. Come at me, bro. They literally make the best third-person adventure games. I've not seen anything better. Heck, look at Spider-Man. Great example. God of War.
Horizon Zero
Dawn.
Dawn.
Everything going on. Yeah. Yep. It's interesting because both of these companies have proven that single-player games and multiplayer games have a home on both places. If you could get the original Metal Gear games remastered for the next generation through something like this, even if it meant they came to PC and they weren't on PlayStation, everything still would be interesting there, because you could potentially hire Kojima out and say, hey, you know what? Remaster this game. Mm-hmm. We own the back catalog now. We own the IP for making games. It's not the first time Microsoft has put a game on another platform, even though they own it.
Yeah. How
crazy would it be for them to say, hey, Sony, you want to go halfsies on Kojima's studio and let him make games?
In one thing I'm interested about this, because you'd have to read the quote again for me, Will, to make sure. If I'm not mistaken, I think you said that if the rumor is true, they would have access to Konami's back catalog. Did it say anything else about any actually having IPs and the ability to create brand new games in those series?
Essentially, their entire gaming catalog, not the back catalog.
I thought that it just said back catalog, so that was me.
No. Yeah, so it'd be the entire gaming catalog. They would just retain the rights for pachinko machines and gambling machines.
Gotcha.
For those franchises. So the Metal Gear pachinko machine, it's going to be fine. You can still play that.
Yeah. Big bonus.
But it would be interesting, because that would potentially be a way for them to say, hey, Kojima, you want to work on your old IP again?
I mean, that's true, because Kojima is not owned by any one studio. Sony doesn't own them. They're partnered with them.
He's been, yeah. And honestly, look, Stig, that's gambling.
Stig chat says they're skill games, not gambling.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's obviously a rumor, dump truck assault, but I would totally love for those franchises to be with a company that cares about gaming.
Mm-hmm.
not just, hey, how can we rip people out of their money in Japan? Yeah.
Good.
Oh man. Well, that's a interesting part. One.
That's an interesting rumor. We're going to make sure we stay on this as best as we can, and any updates to that rumor, we'll definitely let you guys know. But that was an interesting rumor to take us off with. Oh man, what do we want to start off with? What do you want to start off with?
Yeah, you know what? So let me jump into something that I did this week.
Okay.
Funny enough, it ended up getting delayed because I had to make an emergency run, but also because someone wasn't feeling well. So it kind of worked out the best for everybody. But I got to be on the Deep Speech stream or podcast over at the Arcane Gate on twitch.tv/the Arcane Gate. Check them out. They're cool peeps. Funny enough, with everything going on, Fallen Monk D20, if you run into him in the Twitch Huntsville Discord or in our Discord, he is the main reason why we're back into D&D. Yes. Cam and I.
Yeah!
So, give their Twitch channel some love, but essentially, what they actually were gracious enough to let me pick what I wanted to talk about. And I was like, well, hey, let's talk about, resources that are good for first-time DMs, because there's a lot of crap out there, and not all of it actually ends up working well for everybody. So it was pretty cool.
That's a good point. That's pretty good. I'm gonna tell you, I desperately wanted to watch that episode just because I've been curious to do some DMing. I actually have some people at work that have asked me to DM and be a DM, and so I wanted to see what are some good tips between the three of you guys there. And I think I got pulled off I had to deal with some family stuff, so I could not actually watch it, and I was a little bummed about it. But
hey, you know what? That's okay, because they have a YouTube channel, and you can actually go to their YouTube and watch the archive when they upload.
What? What's their YouTube channel? Is it youtube.com/the Arcane Gate?
I think it goes on Fallen Monk's channel. I'm not sure. But I know they do archive to YouTube. Stig, as far as online D&D, I have not ventured into it. So it's one of those where it really does depend. I'm not a huge fan of Roll20, and that's essentially the de facto thing. As far as D&D, that's typically we do it all tabletop. So I'm still looking into it because I don't want the game to be on too long of a hiatus because of COVID-19. So I'm looking at ways to try to bring the campaign back. Should Cameron's dogs allow us to do it digitally?
Well,
we got to clear everything between Whitney and Pepper. Whitney, if your wife doesn't allow anything, that's not. But if Pepper decides to be Pepper, that may not happen either.
That's true.
Dalmatians, they're fun dogs, guys, but also high maintenance.
They suck the life out of you. Be ready to entertain them, and they're gonna be energy driven the whole time. Just be ready for that.
I got a lab pit bull mix, and she sleeps on the couch 99% of the time.
Lucky dog.
Yeah, she's like, oh man, I'm just gonna stretch out right here. Yeah, she's also over 10 years old, but. Oh, speaking of which, outside of the D&D stream, which was actually a lot of fun, and I'm a noob as far as DMing goes. It's been interesting as far as my opinion goes. I've pulled up from a lot of resources, but I'm still very green in the gills. With everything going on, my God, does D&D Beyond make it easy as far as some of their new stuff. So look into that. They actually have some beginner guides in there as well. YouTube channel has really good resources. He's been making some funny meme videos, but he also has some serious resource videos. Okay. So those are two good places to start if you want to DM.
Good little resources there. Okay.
Yeah, but outside of that, going to the dog, I took her for a 4.5 mile walk the other day around the street, down and back, and poor pup turned into a puddle of doggo. When we got back, I've never seen her just go. It just melt into the floor.
Yeah, I bet they probably got worn out. 4 miles. That's a lot.
Well, I've been sitting down a lot lately, and I'm used to day at work, so I was like, I got to go do something.
That's a good point.
And I'm at a standing desk right now, so it's one of those where it's like, I've spent a lot of my time either in a chair or standing at a table, but I'm used to walking. So I was like, yeah, no, we got to go do something. You're going for a walk, dog. You're going to hate this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it was between going on the street, walking along a field, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Luckily, social distancing and all that, there wasn't really anybody else there.
Hey! No, that's really cool because, what they're, again, like Will said, definitely, if you're a big fan of tabletop, big fan of D&D, head over to the Arcane Gate. It's the Arcane Gate on Twitch and on YouTube. They do have their own YouTube channel. Subscribe to their videos there. They're actually, the Deep Speech is one of their chats, I think, where they basically talk D&D with different guests they put on the show.
Cool.
And then they actually have a campaign that they are streaming and working and doing. I think they have 3 episodes now on their YouTube channel. It's really, really cool. You should definitely check it out. Fallen Monk is an awesome DM, very creative, tells a lot of great stories, so definitely go check it out.
Also, follow his Twitter, because he just gets random thoughts about D&D out there, and it's kind of interesting how all of it goes. So,
yes,
you should,
I enjoy his D&D themed memes when they come in. Oh, they're so good.
Their Discord's pretty good too. I just gotta say. But yes,
I have to see if I'm on their Discord.
Yeah. Also, here's a. There we go. They are. That's their channel. They've got a few things. Looks like Torn Veil is what they've got uploaded right now. Mm-hmm. And the Deep Speech is their podcast that they're working on.
Yep, okay. Very cool.
So I don't think they've uploaded that yet. Okay. But check them out, man. They're cool peeps.
So cool. Check out Deep Speech. I'll bounce on something to give your voice a little bit of a break here, Will. And this is going to be... I'll talk about both of my points because they're pretty short. I mean, I've played Animal Crossing. Again, I'm having a good time with that. I will hope, knock on wood, guys. If I can get some video captured, there's a good chance I can have it done by the end of the week. But I do want to say, because, okay, so... Will, I actually don't think I've told you this. So,
what's up?
On my phone, I actually have a list... where's it at? Games I played 2020. I have a list, and I actually have to add these 2 new games on here of all the games that I've played so far in 2020.
Okay.
I'm trying to actively keep a list of just like what games did I play and how many games I've actually played in a year.
Okay.
And then also keeping a check of which ones I've beaten and which ones I haven't. I have got, list is pretty small so far. For people watching, I'll give you a quick, if you can even see that, there's a little quick snippet of some of the games I've played so far this year.
Okay.
I have beaten, and let me double check to make sure I'm not misquoting myself here. Excuse me. Yes. Out of all the games on my list, I have beaten Doom Eternal. There's the first game I've beaten this year. 100% gotten through the single player campaign. As I said, that review is going to go up very soon, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how the video editing goes. But I'm not gonna tell you the score. You're gonna have to go watch the video about it. But I just want to say, I beat it, and this game is a whole lot of fun. I think there are some things that I like, and there are some things that I love about this game. There are some things that I don't know how I feel about it, and that's part of the reason why it's taking me a second to do this review, because I'm balancing to see if my opinion is still valid and my thoughts on the game are still valid. But it was fun to beat Doom Eternal. It's on my check. I can put a checkbox by it and say I have completed it. I rolled credits on that game, so I was really excited about that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, so I feel like this is a game that has kind of gone a little under the radar. It's still there, but because it's not a mainline game, people haven't really focused on it a lot. Gears Tactics got a lot of preview coverage this past week. I sat down and actually watched the footage from IGN, which
Okay.
Miranda Sanchez did a great cover on it and gave a lot of details on it. From what I can tell from this preview, if you are a fan of XCOM 2, this is the game for you, 1000%. It the way they described it, there were it plays very much like XCOM does. There are some different abilities and stuff. So one thing they talked about is like if just like in Gears, if an enemy gets weak enough in health, they'll actually go down. Then you can actually use your movement to go over and do an execution style kill, like cutting them in half with a chainsaw, like stuff like that. They have emergence holes. So, just like in Gears games, holes will pop up and enemies will spawn out of them, and if you leave them unattended, you will get overwhelmed by enemies very quickly. And so having to take a grenade and throw it in there should be a priority.
Gotcha. So what you're telling me is save your frags.
Yes, save your frags. They also made small tweaks according to what they've previewed so far, where like you get 3 actions per move instead of 2, which makes the game go a little bit faster.
Okay, that's good.
But like very much like XCOM, the people you recruit, they are fully customizable. You can get people in there, give them different armor, different skills for their weapons, go into very, very minute detail on each of your units. And just like in XCOM, if your unit dies, they're gone. Poof. Bloody magic dust.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
But I'm really excited for this game because I'm a fan of XCOM games. I've had a lot of fun with them. Like XCOM 2 on Nintendo Switch, that might be the perfect game for me. That price point is not perfect for me, but it might be the perfect game for me. And the fact that we're getting one in a Gears universe, which is a universe I really enjoy, like I'm really excited to get a chance to play this here. So people, if you haven't heard or checked out Gears Tactics, in the show notes I've got the link directly to IGN on the preview of it. It comes out, I think, at the end of the month, like April 28th. And of course, if you have Game Pass, you get the game.
So Rurutu is asking, which difficulty did you beat Doom Eternal?
Hurt Me Plenty.
Okay.
Is the difficulty that I beat. So there's easy mode, whatever the hell that is. Hurt Me Plenty. Hold on. I don't want to misquote myself here. Doom Eternal difficulties. You have. Give me the difficulties. There's I'm Too Young to Die, Hurt Me Plenty, Ultra Violence, Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, and then I think Ultra Nightmare and Extra Life mode are like unlocked. You have to unlock those.
Okay.
No. Ultra Nightmare is no death challenge. You have 1 life. You die and it's over.
Okay.
And Extra Life mode is allows players limited respawns while playing any of the difficulty moves. So you have like a set amount of lives, and if you lose all your lives, you're dead. So,
okay. Different
ways of doing it. That's pretty cool. It was challenging. I'll definitely say Rurutu. I would say, and I don't want to give anything away from the review, like it was very challenging. I'm very glad that I went Hurt Me Plenty because I was actually thinking about going the step above that. Going through Hurt Me Plenty, I think, is the perfect starting point if you want to try and play the game, because there's a lot of stuff you're going to get adjusted to, and that gave me the time to get adjusted to it and had just enough challenge. Like the challenge was definitely there especially when you're in the big arenas with all these enemies coming at you. You've got like 2 tyrants, 3 prowlers that teleport all over the map. You got Hell Knights coming at you. You got Barons of Hell turn into flame. You got cacodemons and pain elementals flying around. Believe me, it's gonna get rough. But it is doable, completely doable. But definitely check it out. It's pretty cool.
All right.
That's all the tabletop points I had. I definitely wanted to bring Gears Tactics to people's attentions. I'm going to try and get a review for that and at least give you guys some coverage on it as we get closer to it.
Persona 5 Royale comes out on the 31st, and I forgot about it.
Oh, I don't need it. I'm telling myself I don't need it because it is just the same game with an additional character.
An additional character, and apparently the cat's...
The cat's what?
He won't put a gun to your head and make you go to bed every night.
Oh, God. And there's like a new dungeon palace. Ah, yeah. Oh, damn it. Don't tell me that, man.
Yeah, I literally heard about that the other day. I'm like, oh, shit.
Don't tell me that. God.
Look, I can't buy it until I beat the remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake, that's the next game I'm playing.
Yeah.
So I got a question. On your games that you've played this year list,
yes,
I have to ask, are you putting games from prior years in there or games from...
Yeah, actually, so I guess I didn't think about it, so people who are watching the video can see my list, so people who are listening couldn't see the list. So, games I've played in 2020, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Journey to the Savage Planet, Apex Legends, John Wick Hex, Bleeding Edge, Uncharted Lost Legacy, The Division 2 Warlords of New York, Pokemon Shield, Call of Duty Warzone, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Doom Eternal, and Animal Crossing. Those are the games I have on the list right now.
Okay, so you are putting games from other years on there.
Yes. I can easily tell, like, okay, these games were clearly from this year. These games weren't.
Yeah. Because, I'm about to do New Game Plus on Spider-Man.
Yeah. I think I got through all the DLC. I just didn't 100% the DLC.
Yeah, I'm currently 100%ing the DLC, and then I'm going to do New Game Plus, then I'm going to play Horizon Zero Dawn after.
Yes. I've been itching. I've been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy 15. I didn't add that on the list, but I've been playing some of that. Because I really haven't, I honestly have never gotten far in that game, and I want to give that a shot throughout the year and play it.
How about 14? Have you played that?
Not this year, but I would like to play that too.
Well, I have a ninja that's level 70 who would be willing to run with you.
Ooh, okay. You're making this hard. Okay.
I'm not quite at max level, but
you're tempting me. I have had an urge to play 14 as well, and just jump back in. It's something, especially with COVID-19 going on, like jumping back into an MMO to play games with some people would just be really awesome to do.
Yeah, I mean, now to be fair, I've been treating the first thing on my list, Warlords in New York, Tom Clancy's Division 2 latest expansion, like an MMO.
Okay.
I have not had an issue. So, for full disclosure, I'm in the Incredible Threat clan on there, and JW Moses, Palace Streams, Chuckles15, and myself have been playing together quite a bit.
Okay.
So I've got some thoughts on the expansion and how they're doing their seasonal content after the expansion, if you guys are cool hanging out for a minute. These are not part of my op-ed. Still finalizing that stuff. Just current thoughts on the way they're handling seasonal content. Okay. So have you purchased a season pass before?
Yeah. I mean, like in Division 2 or just in games in general?
In games in general, because if you bought Warlords, you got the season pass for the first season.
Okay, yeah. No, I've bought the season pass before, yeah.
Okay. So, you've played Diablo. I know you know what Paragon...
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, once you beat Warlords in New York and you get a watch off of a certain corpse, you enable essentially a Paragon-style system where you can upgrade your watch, and it gives you extra stats and whatnot.
Okay.
The watch... I'm at over 100 levels in on the watch. That means I've leveled up over 100 more times after
since playing.
Yeah. I am almost at level 100 on the season pass. That's the cap.
Is 100?
Yeah. So 100.
I'm actually surprised they put a cap on it.
No, I mean, Destiny does it, as well as a bunch of other games that have season passes.
Oh, okay. For a season pass. I'm just thinking from the Paragon perspective, because Diablo has no
Paragon
cap,
perspective?
So. Yeah.
Paragon perspective, I've seen people with 1,000 plus already.
Okay. Jesus.
So, they play way more than I've been playing.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah, they got to be content creators. But I've easily seen people running around 500 plus on their watches. and it shows it, next to their name, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
It is an interesting take because this is the first time where I've had DLC content that I've been playing where I was like, you know what? Yeah, push this harder. Let's go higher and see if I can run this faster. To the point where I started doing some of the league activity in the game because I wanted the exotic cash, but also because it made you buckle down and think about a mission and how you look at it. So the first one I took, the first one I seriously took time and looked at was CDC headquarters.
Okay.
So it's a mission where, for those of you who haven't played the game, as far as the Division 2, you're looking at the headquarters here. There's a bunch of, there's a bunch of tents out front. There's a building you got to get into, and after you get into that building, then you go into the headquarters behind it, and you essentially fight through there, go out through the library, steal some data off of a laptop that's got antiviral information that you need to help fight the outbreak.
Of course.
Then you go through that, down to the basement, blow up their samples, because they have samples of the virus that kill off a large portion of humanity. You got to destroy all of that, burn everything. Then, coming out, you got to fight the Blade, the name of the boss, who was in charge of that area under Emmeline. You got to figure out how to, A, deal with everybody you're going to run into, where they're spawning from, how you're going to kill them, get through, finish the objectives, do everything else, understand that one of those objectives will take 1 minute, and there's no way to stop it from taking a minute.
Okay.
And because it's decrypting the laptop and pulling the data.
Okay.
So
okay, that makes sense.
So literally, you will not make time if you don't. In the first minute of going into the mission, you're not inside the first building. You will not make time because it gives you 16 minutes. Yeah. So I actually changed my entire DPS rotation up and from the ground up. And I went rifle, LMG. And it's interesting the difference because I usually went SMG, LMG, or AR rifle. And I that's how I rolled. I ended up needing the rifle more than any other gun because you can hang further back. And the one I have happens to have two god rolls on it.
And pick people off.
Well, no. Not picking them off. Shooting them so they start running at you because I have knee pads that give me plus 15% damage to things that are out of cover.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense.
You got to it's all about figuring out how the AI is going to respond based off the scenario you're in.
Okay.
It's really interesting because you can pop because the outcasts or the people you're playing against in that mission, they have different things where some of their guys are suicide bombers. And they will run up, light themselves on fire, and explode.
I remember those guys.
Yeah. So, at challenging difficulty, one of those can one-shot you. So the reason you need the rifle is so you can pop the bomb on their chest.
And blow them up beforehand.
Exactly. Because there's one section where you're decrypting the laptop where they send 6 of them at you. And 2 of them are gold. So they're elites. They have armor. God.
That's cruel. That is mean. Ubisoft.
If you have a rifle, it's one shot. They're dead.
Okay, that makes it easy.
Because you shoot them in the bomb. So, but you got to have a rifle. So, different things along those lines. It's just interesting the way it makes you think about the game because you're not just running, oh man, I'm trying to find this loot. It's like, no, I'm actually leaving the loot on the ground. I don't care. I'm trying to get through the time and do this faster.
No, I'll come back for the loot. Like, screw that.
Yeah, and you can totally go back and get the loot later. But it's one of those where, honestly, it's just a sprint through the mission. And so I've done this mission a few times before. I've done it with you, Chris, a bunch of other people. Mm-hmm. And I actually got it to where it was 15 minutes, 55 seconds. I said that earlier. I was aiming for 18 minutes on that and happened to get lucky enough to pick off. When you go into the second part after the wave of dudes that explode, you're going down through the basement to get out. There's a dude with a sledgehammer in full body armor, like bomb disposal gear.
I remember those guys.
There's a way to kill him by popping the visor on the helmet if you have a rifle.
Really?
Pop the visor and headshot him.
I didn't know that. That's pretty okay. That's pretty badass. I did not know that.
Yeah. So there's different ways to destroy the armor, and you got to figure that out and figure out how you're going to adapt to each enemy as they spawn.
Okay.
Figuring out which enemies spawn, and there's some randomness to how they spawn and what enemies do spawn.
I'm about to remember that.
The only thing that's guaranteed is the final boss, the Blade, and she summons essentially lawnmowers that are modified with saw blades on them to throw them at you while you're fighting her.
Oh, because they can't.
They're remote control lawnmowers with saw blades. So yeah.
Because of course they can make it easy for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it was fun just sitting down and spending a couple hours picking a mission apart and figuring it out. It was like, all right, cool. I can cut time here. I can do this here, and figuring out, all right, cool. This is how I need to play this to get here. This is how much time I can spend here to get there. And I haven't thought about a level or boss fights like that in a really long time outside of when I was playing World of Warcraft seriously.
Ooh, so long ago.
So it was just one of those things that I fell into, and I was like, man, I've spent the last week playing this game, and I haven't picked a game apart like this in a long time, and it was fun.
And that's awesome, because I know, like, you've talked and told me that, like, that is one of your big focuses is, like, to not get as many games this year, but to, like, delve more into those games than you have in years past. So that's awesome to hear that. It really is. I want to get through. I've beaten 2 of the 4 bosses in Warlords of New York, and I need to get the other 2 beaten so I can kill Keener and join you guys.
If you want a Sherpa for that, let me know.
Do they call them Sherpas in Division? Because I know they call them.
I mean, they call them that on the subreddit, so why not?
Okay. Fair enough. That counts.
Yeah, man, I have a tank build that's set up right now where you've seen the screenshots. We've done a couple billion damage in one, run on a dungeon.
Ridiculous.
So, and that was with a pistol.
Ridiculous, man.
I mean, yeah, but when you have a
crazy.
shield that's got 14 plus million health and you're just walking up to a cannon, pop, you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're doing billions of points of damage, it makes it easy.
Yeah, well, it's just like, oh man, do. Oh, hey. 1 bullet, 500,000 damage, yes.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, awesome thoughts. I'm super excited to hear more about your op-ed on the Warlords of New York and kind of what you think about it.
Yeah, the DLC is interesting because I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy the next season pass, but we've got, what was it? I think Tuesday is when the next. Oh no, it may be up today. I'm not sure. I gotta check. The next manhunt is because, of course, after you take out Keener, a sleeper cell gets activated, and now you have to hunt that sleeper cell.
Of course, because they have to keep the game going somehow, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But anything else you have to add for Table Talk?
Nah, man. Play games, have fun, don't be a jerk, stay at home and wash your hands.
Wash your hands, people. That's one of the main tips we'll give you here as we wrap up episode 8 of the Rocket Punch Show. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. As always, we appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out with us, goofing off with us each and every week. I think we've got a good thing going here while everybody is doing their social isolating here, so everything's going smooth. I already had conversations with Seth and Carla for Console Wars and Dice Decks and Design. And they were like, oh, what are we going to do? And I'm like, look, Will and I already took care of this. We got everything laid out. We got the system. All you need is a mic, a headset, and a Discord.
What? No.
Account. And that's it. So definitely, we're as far as everything's going, guys, we're still going to keep track, keeping our content coming to you guys here. As always, we'll let you guys know if something holds us up on that, especially involving the COVID-19 stuff going on right now. But other than that, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. Remember, check out YouTube. Expecting a lot of videos this week. We're going to put some video work in here to keep you guys entertained while you're staying at home, playing your games, doing your thing. But other than that, any final words, Will?
No, man. Just take care and have a good game.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for listening in. Until next week, good night, good game.